This video will give you an introduction to shading values. You will need a worksheet, this worksheet that's located in your kit. You will also find in your kit an eraser, a 2B pencil, a small sharpener, and I recommend finding a container where you can put your pencil shavings so you don't make a mess. So this is our finished product that we are looking for. You can see the directions here. We're going to be shading values. We're going to start with number 1, which is the lightest, and move across to number 5, the darkest. I have some rules and reminders for you, and then we'll get started. So, holding your pencil gently is very important. To do that, you're going to drop the flat, unsharpened end into your palm and gently close your fingers. Then you have a gentle grip on your pencil. This is how I would write, and this will get too sharp of a line. And we don't want to use the point. We want to use the side. So again, to drop the unsharpened end into your palm and gently close your fingers allows you to have a gentle grip. We want to use the side of the pencil to be able to render our values. If I were to use the point, I would only get sharp lines, and we don't want that. So remember, always use the side of your pencil to achieve this kind of rendering, not like that. We're going to render in only one direction, and for this first part we are going to render in a vertical direction, so up and down. Place a cushion under your worksheet. Your tabletop or surface you're working on might have scratches or bumps, and this allows you to have a nice smooth surface. Some suggestions are any kind of paper, a magazine, newspaper, a folder, anything that you have available to you is fine. And I'll continue to remind you to render slowly and consistently. When you render slowly, as I will show you, you get a nice smooth surface without dark spots or light spots, and that's what we want. We want consistent shading. So, with your worksheet, I'm going to see what I have to put under it. So, anything like, here's white paper, notebook paper, a magazine, some newspaper, anything that you have to place under your worksheet to give it a little bit of a cushion is a good idea. Okay, so I'm going to start by sharpening my pencil first. If you have a small container or a lid, something you can just dump into the garbage can instead of making a mess on your tabletop or accidentally dropping that sharpener into the garbage can. That's not what you want. I'll put these aside. So, being right-handed, I tend to work this way. If you are left-handed, you may find that by turning the paper upside down, but still working from 1 to 5 is easier for you. So you can make that decision on your own. So I'm going to start with number 1. Move this down. I have my 2B pencil. I sharpened it. I'm going to hold it gently in my palm. Close my fingers so I achieve that nice gentle grip. Number 1 has to be the lightest one. So in this one, I'm going to just press as gently as I can to achieve the lightest gray possible. And if I make a mistake, if I press a little bit too hard, or if I end up with, I'm at a little bit of a dark spot there, I'll do that on purpose incorrectly, I can go back and erase. Notice how slowly I'm moving. I'm not trying to race from left to right quickly, because you want to move slowly and you want to move consistently. I'm trying to stay inside the box, but because we can erase, I tend to go outside just a little bit. Okay, so now I can use my eraser. I think I started off a little bit too dark. Just gently kind of like tapping with your eraser, or kind of wiping a little bit, just a little. And then I'll come in and fix what that's much better. Sometimes even moving in somewhat of a circular direction allows you to get more coverage. All right, so that's number 1. As light as I could make it. I like to clean up as I go. Okay, number 1. Number 2, I am simply going to increase my pressure and add layers. So number 2 has to be just 1 step darker than number 1. So I'm going to press maybe just a little bit harder. Still going in that vertical direction, up and down. Going slowly, side of my pencil. You can see already I'm starting to get a little bit darker than number 1. So I'm moving across. And I'm going to add layers. I think it's a little darker here, and I kind of like that part. So I think I have to add another layer continuing here. Filling in any light spots that I see, correcting any dark spots that may appear if I went and pressed a little bit too hard. Okay. The good thing is, I know that I can go back. Once I finish number 5, I might say, you know what? 2 needs to be a little bit lighter, or 3 needs to be a little bit darker. So I know that I've started these. I may go back to them. It just depends on how I'm going to do 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to compare them to each other. So I'm going to increase my pressure and add layers. So pressing just a little bit harder. I still have my loose grip though. I still have, drop it into my palm, close my fingers. I still have a loose grip. My pencil is still sharp. You can always pause to sharpen your pencil as needed, of course. So let's see, how does that look? I'm aiming for kind of a medium for the number 3. So far, so good. I'm going to go with that. Nice and slow, vertical direction. If you feel like it's scratching on your paper, it might be the wood of the pencil kind of getting in the way. So keep that in mind as you go. If you can feel or see it scratching, you may have to just kind of rotate your pencil or change, sharpen it a little bit, or kind of change your angle. So I can feel myself. I can see I'm getting lighter as I go. So let me keep going. Try to get all the way up to the top of the edge. Your best bet is to try to stay inside and then go back and erase a little bit if you need it. Don't go like this and go out, like I just did there. Go outside the box and make a big crazy mess. Come back to it. Give this your time. Give this your attention. Get yourself away from other distractions. We are going to take this lesson down to the bottom section for blending values, and then we're going to apply all this knowledge to actual shapes. So we won't just be creating some boxes of gray, because that's just how we introduce it. And then we'll get a little more creative. We'll learn a bit more as we go with rendering with your graphite pencil. All right, I'm going to call that for now. Get rid of the excess. Okay, so far so good. I know I have to go darker on 4 and as dark as I can on 5. So let's continue. Number 4, I'm going to increase my pressure, and add layers. So I'm going to press just a little bit harder on number 4. And if it matches 3 at first, you're doing it right. Let it match the one before it. And then you know that you got to press a little bit harder and add more layers. Notice I'm still using my gentle grip. It's only a little bit darker than 3, so I know I'm going to get all the way to the end here, and I know I have to add more layers. Probably even change my grip a little bit. By the way, newspaper is a really good cushion. It actually does allow you to create a nice soft blend without actually rubbing it to blend it. All right, I'm going to bring my grip up a little bit. I'm not changing to this, but I'm just kind of holding my pencil loosely. It's outside of my palm, down here. So I can use my index finger and my pointer finger to give it a little more pressure at the point, but still keeping my pencil as flat as I can. Okay, I'm happy with that value, but notice how I neglected the top and the bottom. I got the value I wanted across the middle pretty consistently, but look at that top and bottom. So if you find that that's the case, that's okay. Go in and almost kind of in a circular, but also kind of straight up and down direction. Fill in that little part. The darker your pencil gets, the harder it is to erase. So I don't want to go outside that box too much with my number 4, because that will be hard to erase. All right, so see all this empty spots and lighter spots? I'm going to work on those. It takes a little patience. This doesn't come instantly. This is not fast food art. This is take your time art. Okay. I'm getting there. One more. Same thing. Increase your pressure and add layers. And you will definitely need to change your grip so you can press a little bit more. Just because I'm going to sharpen my pencil so I can get a little bit nicer point. You got this nice brand new sharpener with a nice blade. Just a little bit should do it. Ooh, look at that point. Nice. Okay. Number 5. Okay. I'm going to press as hard as I can. I'm using my gentle grip at first just to fill the area. I'm probably going to match number 4 at first. So I'm going to get a deep value all across. Notice how I got lighter there. That almost looks like a 3. So I know I have to bring this up darker. Adding layers. When you first see this video, you might even just watch first one time through. Or you might feel like working along with me and pausing it as needed. All right. It is darker, but I am going to change my grip so I can press a little bit harder. So I'm going to just let my pencil kind of fall into my hand and use my index finger to press down. See how that, I just get a little bit darker. That's nice and rich and deep black. That's better. And of course, I usually need to go back and do a small motion to get these little edges and corners. Don't neglect those. Up here. Your pencil's probably getting a little shiny. You can even see, oh, in the light there, as I move my paper, it has a little bit of a glare to it because it is graphite, which is shiny. Okay. I'm going to erase what I don't need. Now this gets a little smudgy. If I were to wipe my finger on this, I would have gray all over my finger. So the more we put on the paper, the smudgier it is. So I'm going to be careful when I get rid of those little bits. All right. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. I do see a little bit of a dark spot here and here. I could try to just kind of soften that a little bit and clean it up. I'm not going to be satisfied until, well, it looks a little bit lighter here too. Until I go back and examine it. Just because you did the box doesn't mean it's done. Take the time to go back and look. Ask for help if you need it. You could always send me a picture of your work in progress so I can give you some specific advice if needed. Okay. Don't forget to put your name on top. And the next video will show you how to blend those values. Don't move on yet. So hope yours goes well, and we'll continue from there. Bye-bye.